Hey, what's up? Hold up 1 second. Oh, that was a wet one. That was a wet one. Oh, still going. Anyways, what's up, YouTube? Oh, it smells so bad. My name is your boy Ghosties. I'm back with another banger of a video. Sorry, I'm finding it very hard to breathe. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about competing in an actual arena. So most of you might know this, but I'm a runner. I quit soccer, and now I run cross country and track. And to be honest, it's a lot of fun. So the cross country season pretty much started as soon as the outdoor track season ended last year. So we had practice all throughout the summer, super early in the morning. Actually, it was really good. I know I barely uploaded at all last summer, but it kept me productive because I was still working on this channel. Don't mind that voice crack. But we would get up early and we'd go out and run. And to be honest, I may or may not have half-assed. I was like, if I just keep doing a slow pace and don't work hard, I'll stay the same, right? And then I can improve when the season started. That's not the right mindset to have. You should always focus on improving and trying your best no matter what. So I really wasn't doing much. That was until these two new people showed up. Now, at first, I was a little disappointed. I was like, wow, okay, so they're just going to practice with us. They didn't even try out. Come on now. And that wasn't even the whole reason why I was upset. I was more upset because one of the people had the same name as me. And so, that always makes me a little bit upset because I don't know if you're talking to me or if you're talking to him. So I'm just going to shove a finger in my own ass. Who knows? Maybe that'll probably solve the issues, right? But anyways, his sister, though, was very attractive. I'm just going to throw that right out there. And she was fast. She would dust my ass, not even going to lie. She was scooting out there. So I was like, I looked to my friend who I would run with all the time, and I was like, yo, maybe we should pick up the pace a little bit. I mean, I'm not even going to lie. I may be trying to impress her. I barely know her. I just know she's attractive and fast. And that's two things I like. So let's go. So then I actually started training up again. And when school started, I decided, you know what? I'm going to work really, really hard. I'm going to do my YouTube channel. I'm going to work out. I'm going to run every day. So then one day it was rainy and I was like, you know what? Today I'm going to go out and I'm going to run 8 miles. Now before that, the most I would run was 6. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to run 8 miles at a 2-minute faster pace than I normally do. So fast forward to the end of the day and I was ready to go. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Turn my music on. I went out there in the rain. I actually like to run in the rain because where I run, there's nobody else there. It's just me and the ducks. So it's actually pretty peaceful. So I went and I started to run and I was running. And the whole time I kept myself motivated because I was thinking of her. Not even gonna lie. No creepy shit. Nothing like that on this channel. But you really do have to find a way to keep yourself motivated. So that's what I did. And I ran those 8 miles. And the next day we did a speed workout. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to blow this one out of the water. I'm going to try to get PR times. We were doing mile splits. And basically a PR in running, people will say PR. On video games, you'll say a PB. So it basically means personal record or personal best. But we were doing mile splits, which means we would do a mile at a certain pace and then a mile and try to keep hitting that pace with a small break in between. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to get PRs every time. So I started kicking it into high gear because, of course, I was still trying to impress this girl. And then I fractured my shins. I got shin splints, which are microfractures, and I waited too long, which if you're a runner and you think you might have shin splints, which is a pain in between your bone and your muscle on your calves, you should always rest and ice and stretch, which is something I didn't do. And it just got worse and worse and worse until the point where I told my coaches and they were like, okay, you can't run. So I couldn't run throughout the entire cross-country season pretty much. I ran 1 meet total, I'm pretty sure. And I was improving. I was doing pretty good. So that was pretty disappointing. Pretty much means I had to start from square run. Good one. Pretty much means I had to start from square one. And, it was pretty demoralizing. Not going to lie, I hadn't cried in a long time, but this one really made me cry. Not only that, but the cute cross-country runner started talking to another dude. Yeah, that was a much needed moment of silence. But anyways, we recover. We pick ourselves back up when we fall down. But after, the whole fractured shins thing, the indoor season pretty much occurred right after. Right when my shins healed and the doctors were like, okay, you can run again. Of course, I still had to do physical therapy and stuff like that, which actually wasn't that bad because it really strengthened my core up, which is something even now I still have to work on. I still have to ice my shins sometimes and I still have to stretch all the time. But strengthening core, if you're a runner, even if you play soccer or basketball, you might not think it, but all of these small core muscles in like your hips, and I know what you're thinking, your core is just your abs, which not the case. Your core is like everywhere. Everything in your body is connected. So you got to keep working all of that other stuff, even if you think you might not need it, because you do. Your form will get sloppy and you'll end up just hurting yourself. But anyways, the indoor season started and I was still a little demotivated. I was kind of, at first, I started to run track because I really needed an extracurricular. And then I really started to enjoy it. And then after I fractured my shins again, I was like, man, I really just need an extracurricular. I don't really want to run again. But I have such good friends and I was able to keep myself motivated because running is fun to me. It like brings me inner peace, It's so peaceful just to run. And it feels good when you see improvements because in soccer, you could score 3 points in one game, maybe 1 point in another, and 3 points, and you can't tell if you're improving or not. While in running, you actually have times to show your improvement, and you can tell when you're working hard, when you're sore as hell, of course. If you need to sit in an ice bath for 30 minutes, you must be working pretty hard, and you must be doing well. But anyways, fast forward a while through the indoor track season, and 2 days ago, I had my first ever indoor track meet. Now, I ran indoor track last year, but indoor track meets are very hard to compete in because you can only take very few people. It's almost as hard to get into as states. Well, I guess not really close because states is very, very hard to get into. But at my school, indoor track is hard to get into because we have a huge track team. So you have to compete amongst your teammates just to get on the indoor track team. You can still practice with the team for the outdoor season, which is easier, but you won't really compete in indoor. This is probably confusing. I'm probably spewing this out here like, what I gotta do to three, like some Eminem shit, just throwing all this information out there, and it's kind of hard to keep up with. You know how I am. I just think of all this stuff in my head, and I just Kobe it, Hopefully somebody catches it. Hopefully Shaq gets my rebound, if you know what I'm saying. R.I.P. Kobe. That man was actually one of the inspirations for me because Kobe had one of the hardest work ethics in all of the NBA, and that was something that really inspired me because I was like, man, he worked this hard to be the best. I've got to work that hard to be the best. Of course, I mean, I'm pretty lazy. I'm not that lazy, but it still drove me to get up in the morning and run when I didn't want to. But anyway, fast forward back to 2 days ago, and I had to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, catch the bus, and head out to my first indoor track meet. Sadly, some of my friends were unable to go because it was still homecoming that day. So a majority of the team did not attend, but some of us did, and it was still pretty fun. So it was really me and one other distance runner for the distance portion of track, which, if you don't know, usually they're separated. So there's throwers, sprinters, and distance, and I'm part of distance. Now, at the track meet, it was so cool. It was like this huge complex, like a huge arena. Like they had boxes, like it was fully indoors. It was a 200-meter track, which is half of a Olympic-sized track, I think. So instead of 4 laps around on a 400-meter track for a 1-mile run, my stutter is really fucking my ass here. It's 8 laps to run 1 mile. And the turns were on hydraulics, which means they could lift them up and put them down and make them like little hills and stuff like that. So it was weird at first, but it was really cool. And there were people, there were viewing boxes, like where people will have parties and stuff. And there were TVs, and there was a huge board, and bleachers everywhere. It was like a huge arena. Now, when I was waiting to compete, there was 18 teams. So in each event, there were 13 heats or something like that. So in between each of my races, I had 3 hours to stretch and prepare. I don't think I've ever been more loose in my life I stretched so much that day. I mean, I was getting more tired from standing than I was from running. And like when my first race started, I really felt the tone of the race because it was a 6-lane track and there were 20 of us running in the race. So my coach wanted me to lead the pack at first just to start the race. So I was like, okay, coach, I'll do what you say. I mean, you're the boss. So I went flying out there throwing some major elbows. I mean, I was getting some elbows thrown out there. I mean, I did pretty well overall. And then my next race, I was like, okay, I'm going to stay loose. I'm going to stay stretched out. My next race didn't start for another 3 hours. So I was like, okay. And that race was a little bit more fun because I felt like I wanted to see how fast I could go on this new track. You know, I hadn't run on a track like this before. And it was super cool watching all the other events because there was a guy pole vaulting and he beat the complex's pole vaulting record. That man flew like 17 feet on a stick. I mean, it's hard to describe it, but that man was flying, and he'd do a little backflip in the air. That man must get laid. I can't even cap. But anyways, all my events, I think I competed for 8 minutes, and we were there for 10 hours total. I ran the 800-meter dash, and I ran the 1,600 meters, so the half mile and the full mile. And then as we were waiting to finish up, I just sat there because we still had a lot of events to go after I was done. And so I just watched everybody and like all of these like it was like watching the Olympics, but you're there experiencing it. The bleachers were really uncomfortable, sadly, but you know, I wish I could have been up in one of those boxes with all the big TVs and stuff, but it was super cool. The complex also had like a pool and it had a place where you could buy shoes. It was crazy. But then as we were leaving, of course, with all nice things, it's got to be like 4 hours away from where I live. So we left and we ate at Culver's, which I haven't eaten at Culver's in a long time because I live in the South now and I didn't even know they had them down here. So I had a delicious butter burger, of course, and I had some fries and it was nice and yummy. And sadly, I forgot my card at home. So I had to like quick set up Apple Pay. And Apple Pay, I got to say, it's pretty cool. I'm like, I like walk up there feeling like a badass, like, you guys take Apple Pay? And then I hit a little button on my phone, pay for everything, and walk away. With my food, of course, because I'm starving. I did forget to take a piss, though, at Culver's, so I had to hold it the rest of the ride home. I also had to shit pretty bad. But it took us 4 hours to get home, and the meet ran late, so I didn't get home until 1:30. Well, I didn't get to the track at my school until 1:30, and then I had to drive myself home. And as I was driving, thank God, my car has this like danger protection system where if I go out of my lane a little bit, it'll vibrate at me. So I was like, okay, either I call my mom to come pick me up or I just drive myself home. My house is like 5 minutes away, my parents get pretty cranky if I wake them up. So I'm like, all right, maybe I just drive myself home. I mean, I'm awake. I slept on the bus. I've never man-spread while sleeping, but you know, I did it. I mean, I had a tire seat, so I was pretty uncomfortable. And one of the big boys on the team, who was a thrower, that man got stuck between a seat. He got stuck between two seats. So I wake up to, help, I'm stuck. But anyways, after we get home, I start driving home. I'm saying home way too many times here, I know. But I start drifting off to sleep, which is pretty scary since I'm in a car. And I got one of those dreams where it's like you think you're still awake because like the actions that you were doing continue. But really, you're fast asleep. But thank God my car vibrates. So I started to drift out of my lane. And all I feel is vroom, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh shit. And I make it home safe, of course, feeling like a badass because I just competed in this huge-ass arena with, like, thousands of other students. I mean, I placed decent. I mean, I think I was, like, top 50, which is pretty good for only my second year and just coming off of fractured shins. But I want to start incorporating a positive message into my videos, and that's keep working hard and do fun in whatever you – and do fun, good one, and have fun with whatever you do. All right. Like and subscribe. See ya.